Jay-Z's in big trouble. Jay-Z is accused in a civil lawsuit of raping a 13-year-old girl in the 2000s along with Sean Diddy Combs. Crazy news that just blew up on the time. I'm sure some of you guys have heard about it. Let's quickly read the report. Jay-Z, the star rapper and entrepreneur, whose real name is Sean Carter, was accused in a lawsuit on Sunday of raping a 13-year-old girl in 2000, allegedly, along with Sean Diddy Combs. The anonymous accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, said that the assault happened after she was driven to an MTV Video Music Shoot after party. No, MTV Video Music Awards after party. The federal lawsuit also was originally filed in October in the Southern District of New York, listing Combs as a defendant. It was refiled Sunday to include Carter. Texas-based attorney Tony Busby, who filed the suit, did not comment. Carter called the allegations idiotic in a lengthy statement Sunday evening and alleged that Busby was engaged in unprofessional behavior. A spokesperson for U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of New York declined to comment on whether the office was pursuing a case when shown NBC report in the lawsuit. Busby has filed several lawsuits in several months. All have withheld their complaints through name, accusing Combs of assault and rape. This is the first suit in which he's named another high-profile defendant. In a statement, legal representative and Combs called for the suit's shameless publicity stunt designed to extract payments from the celebrities who fear having lies spread about them. Federal prosecutors in New York criminally charged Combs in September for racketeering, sex trafficking, and other crimes, and he is behind bars in Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center after he was denied bail for a third time last month. Prosecutors said that in a court hearing last month that they are in the process of potentially bringing more charges against Combs in the superseding indictment. Before the lawsuit was refiled on Sunday, Carter received a letter from the plaintiff's counsel requesting mediation to resolve a matter. Busby wrote in a suit. In response to a letter which NBC has seen, Carter filed his own lawsuit against the accuser's attorney. Busby wrote in a suit. The lawsuit claims that in 2000, when Doe was 13, Combs and Carter raped her at a house party after an MTV Music Awards in New York. The lawsuit says that a friend dropped her off at the VMAs at Radio City Music Hall. She did not have a ticket, and she approached various limousine drivers to try and gain access to the show or an after party. One driver, the lawsuit says, told her that he worked for Combs and that she fit what Diddy was looking for. He invited her to the party after the show, told her to return to his car later in the evening after he transported Carter and Combs, the suit says. Later, the driver picked her up, the lawsuit says, and after 20 minutes, they arrived at the White House. They arrived at a White House with a U-shaped driveway. The suit says she had to sign a document she believed to be a non-disclosure agreement on arrival, did not receive a copy to enter the party, which the suit says was filled with celebrities and people doing marijuana and cocaine. She was offered a drink that made her feel woozy, lightheaded, and felt like she needed to lie down. Shortly afterwards, the suit says Combs and Carter entered the room with Combs saying, "You're ready to party?" Sorry. You're ready to party, to a 13-year-old. Yo, bury that guy under the prison. That's when she alleges Carter removed her clothes, held her down, and raped her while Combs and an unnamed female celebrity watched. She says Combs also raped her as Carter and the woman looked on. The suit says that she was able to resist being forced to perform oral sex on Combs by hitting him in the neck, and that he stopped. After the alleged assault, the suit says she grabbed her clothes and left. She made her way to the gas station where she called her father, it says. The accuser is seeking unspecified damages. The lawsuit is filed against New York Victims Gender Motivated Violence Protection Act. Ugh. Can you imagine how you'd feel as a dad receiving that phone call from your daughter at some petrol station somewhere? The temptation to just drive your car and ask your daughter where the fucking party was, and drive your car tell her to get out and drive your car directly through that fence into the fucking house and just blitz everybody that lives in there is so strong. I don't know how he resisted it. Honestly, I don't know how the dad resisted not wanting to drive through that house and just absolutely murk everybody inside. How did he resist that? How did he resist the urge to do so? So, as you can see there, Jay-Z's being accused of R-wording a 13-year-old girl. Now, do I believe it? Is it possible? Yeah. Do I believe it? Nah. Personally. Is it possible? Yes, but do I believe it? No. It's possible because Jay-Z's got a bit of a dicey history in terms of dating underage girls, but in his defense, that was what everyone was doing back in the day. I think he might have dated maybe Aaliyah when she was kind of young. I'm sure he dated, I think it was Foxy Brown when she was young. He got with Beyonce when she was fairly young. But I think back then that was what was going on. I don't think you can kind of begrudge him for that, especially with Beyonce. That's actually his wife and mother of his children now. And those other women haven't really complained about it since then. So I'm not really too fussed about that too much. But, considering everything that's going down, considering all the big names that have yet to come out, because that's the thing that happened with Diddy, right? When Diddy got locked up, everyone was under this assumption that all these big names were going to follow. But sometimes these type of crimes, especially when they involve very high level, high caliber people, the reason why they get away with it is because they're like, you know, they're well-known people with like tons of resources. So it is quite surprising to see a person of Jay-Z's level be mixed up in this. That's the thing that's just kind of like, throwing me off a bit. Because usually people like him, of his level, of his stature, they're able to kind of like clean these things up back in the day, get it sorted, so it doesn't end up biting them in the butt later on down the line. Someone like Diddy is a bit more maniacal, a little bit more sadistic, a little bit more psychotic. You can see him trying to fight it and like, you know, do the whole like ego thing, because allegedly with the Diddy situation, the situation with that is that I think Cassie's lawyers reached out to him privately to try and get a settlement, but he didn't go for it, knowing full well that yes, they were trying to extort him, but it wasn't like they were trying to extort him based off lies. It actually did happen, and he said no. And then obviously she went to court with it, filed a lawsuit, and then it kind of what transpired. So some people would say that if Diddy would have paid her and just made it go away, he probably wouldn't be in prison right now. But I don't think Jay's as reckless as someone like a Diddy. I don't think he's that, you know, I don't think he's as reckless. I think if he was given the opportunity to kind of like make something like this go away that he knows actually did happen, he'd probably take it. But who knows with these people? Who fucking knows? But the crazy situation about it is how quickly, actually, let me see if I can find it, is how quickly they actually made a statement about it. I think I saw a statement on Roc Nation's fucking X account. They made a statement about it like super quickly. So it feels like there's been a lot of discussion behind the scenes with maybe the accuser's lawyers and Roc Nation and Diddy, and Jay-Z and stuff about kind of sorting this shit out. And they released a statement like, I don't know, within 30 seconds or so of that fucking original lawsuit being put out there. So this is courtesy of Roc Nation's X account. It says as follows. Obviously, Roc Nation, you guys know as Jay-Z's label and just, you know, media imprint overall. It says as follows. This is Jay-Z's words. My lawyer received a blackmail attempt called a demand letter from a lawyer, quote unquote, named Tony Busby. What he had calculated was the nature of these allegations, and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir. It had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud that you are in a very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny. These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Wouldn't you not agree? These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case. This lawyer, who I have done a bit of research on, seems to have the pattern of these types of theatrics. I have no idea how you have come to be such a deplorable human being, Mr. Busby. But I promise you, I have seen your kind many times over. I am more than prepared to deal with your type. You claim to be a Marine. Marines are known for their valor. You have neither honor nor dignity. My only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and the greed of people. I mourn yet another loss of innocence. Children should not have to endure such at their young age. It is unfair to have to try to understand inexplicable degrees of malice meant to destroy families and the human spirit. My heart and support goes out to the true victims of the world who have to watch how their life story is dressed in costume for the possibility by this ambulance chaser in a cheap suit. Yeesh! You have made a terrible error in judgment, thinking that all celebrities are the same. I am not from your world. I'm a young man who made a way out of the projects of Brooklyn. We don't play these types of games. We have a very strict codes and honor. We protect children. You seem to exploit people for personal gain. Only your network of conspiracy theorists, fake sidekicks will believe the idiotic claims you've leveled against me. If not, the seriousness surrounding them harm your children would be laughable. I look forward to showing you just how different I am. I find it hilarious that Jay-Z thinks some psychics are fake and sometimes they're real. That's a real thing that kind of telling there. Only your network of conspiracies and fake. So Jay-Z believes in psychics, just not the fake ones, and the fake ones happen to be the ones that talk about him. Not sure about that one, but very strongly worded statement. Very refreshing. I said it previously that it's always annoyed me when people get accused of these type of things. If they are innocent, they seem to kind of just run away or kind of bury their head in the sand. So if this guy thinks he's innocent and didn't do nothing wrong, I like that he's coming out and all swinging, guns blazing, basically saying, look, without saying it, he's basically saying, I have the time, I have the money, I have the resources to show you for the liar you are. Because no one actually does that, right, in these type of suits, because it just costs too much money. But Jay's got enough money to make an example of this guy if this is actually false. If he is an ambulance chaser of a lawyer, if this is just an attempt to extort him, he's got all the resources available to him to absolutely make this guy look like an idiot. But unfortunately, in the process, he most likely will end up discrediting all the other people that he has levied against Diddy. So in a way, this case might end up helping Diddy. As mad as this may sound, this case might end up helping Diddy. Because if Jay-Z is able to expose Tony Busby, who allegedly is the most successful lawyer in the US, I don't know what that means though. I don't know what how you grade that. But if Jay-Z can expose Tony Busby for being a liar, for basically twisting the truth, for trying to extort people through these civil lawsuits and blah, 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 it might end up exonerating Diddy in some respect. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I watched an academic stream once and he was talking about this case. And he was basically saying that apart from I think Cassie, there's nobody else that's on record with their full name who said anything about Diddy. It's just been a Cassie account. That's the only one. Cassie's the only one that's put her name to it. Everyone else has been a Jane Doe. And all the Jane Does, I think, have been majority represented by Tony Busby. So if this case ends up being fugazi, or they end up being able to pick holes in it, and it ends up to be fabricated or exaggerated or whatever it may be, it's going to make the Diddy situation very hard to tell. And it wouldn't surprise me, you know, it's a very unlikely outcome for most of us, because I think most of us are kind of looking at the evidence and thinking, oh my God, he's going to go down. But we could head into the new year, sometime into 2025, where there could be a headline you might read about Diddy being found innocent or maybe being freed on bail or something. That could become entirely possible all through this one domino falling. But if it is true, yeesh, it's a mad one. It's a mad one. It's a mad one. It really is a mad one. And it puts all those people on Roc Nation in a weird position, or the artists that are maybe quick to kind of say some shit about Diddy, people that are maybe quick to say stuff about Drake. I found it interesting though, the amount of people who have gone out their way not to report it. I think Complex and a few other platforms haven't posted the Jay-Z lawsuit thing at all. They've avoided it, so you can definitely see where the fucking power and the influence in hip hop in certain places lies. Because when Diddy got accused, everybody was talking about this, but when Jay-Z gets accused, it seems to be a thing where only YouTubers and some publications are talking about it, which is, it kind of is what it is. But let's see how it plays out. Not too sure how it's going to play out, but it is a pretty crazy headline to read when you wake up in the morning and you read that Jay-Z's been accused of raping a 13-year-old girl. Do I think it's possible? Yes. Do I believe it? No. If I'm being completely honest. But again, what do I know? Absolutely nothing.